My name is Alex, and today I'll be presenting app development for beginners. First, I'd like to introduce what we'll be going over today. So we'll be talking about app development for beginners, specifically demystifying how applications are built from initial concept to a working launched application. And our focus areas are solutions for school and work. Every successful app, no matter how big, starts with a problem that needs solving. For this training, we'll look at two practical examples that might hit close to home. For example, in a school, you can build an app that is a campus marketplace for safely buying and selling textbooks. This solves the problem of textbooks being too expensive to afford, and also textbooks being wasted after being only used for one semester. In a work setting, you can build an app that tracks intern hours for logging volunteer shifts. This solves the problem of manually tracking intern hours, which is tedious and time-consuming. Both of these require the same fundamental building blocks that we'll talk about in the next slide. So the architecture of a modern app is divided into two main areas, the front end and the back end. The front end is basically what you see all the time. So the screen of a phone, the screen of a computer, every website, what you can visibly see. It's basically the dining room if the whole app is a restaurant. And the back end is the kitchen. It's where all the data processing and security happen out of sight. Is what's happening behind the scenes. So both of these are essential for an application. To effectively create an app, we don't want to rush into anything. So we first design the blueprint of the app, which is the user interface and the user experience. The user interface is the visual design, colors, buttons, and layout of all the screens in the app. And the user experience is the flow, navigation, and ease of use of those buttons and screens. And to map these two out, we can try something called wireframing, which is sketching out screens to save hours of coding where you might have wasted time deciding on what to change and what not to change. So designing a blueprint is pivotal in creating an app. After we design the blueprint, we can move on to building the front end. And the modern front end today relies on these three core languages: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language, contains the structure of the website. So the text, images, and input fields. CSS contains all the styling of those things, like the colors, fonts, and spacing. And JavaScript is the brain of the whole thing. It's the button clicks, it's the animations, menus, anything that's interactive. So by using these three things, we can create the front end of any website or app we want. As our applications get more complex, writing everything in basic HTML and JavaScript can become messy and repetitive. This is where modern frameworks like React come in. React is a powerful tool that lets you build your user interface using reusable components. Think of our campus marketplace app. The box showing the textbook is just one component, and instead of writing code for that box 1,000 times for 1,000 books, you build that component exactly once. React then reuses it dynamically for every single book uploaded. This keeps the design consistent and speeds up development drastically. So after we finished our front end, we can move to the kitchen, which is the back end. The front end might look pretty, but it's the back end that actually makes the app function. It handles the invisible heavy lifting of the app. For example, when an intern clicks clock in on their dashboard, the front end doesn't know what time it is or who that intern is. So it sends a message to the back end. The back end then records the exact timestamp, verifies the intern's identity, and calculates the total hours. The back end enforces the rules of the application and ensures that processes run smoothly and securely. Now we need to write the back-end logic. In today's modern age, there are countless back-end languages and frameworks that you can use. But as a beginner, I recommend using Python and Flask. Python because it's highly readable and intuitive, so it makes for a great beginner language. And Flask is often paired with Python as it is a lightweight framework used to set a routing. For instance, when a user navigates to the My Hours page, a specific Flask route is triggered. The Python code attached to that route gathers the intern's past shifts, does the math, and packages that information to be sent to the front end. So you can use these two things to write your backend logic and to make the front end work. So we have the front end, which is the dining room, and we have the back end, which is the kitchen. But who brings the food out from the kitchen to the dining room? That's where APIs come into play. APIs, or application programming interfaces, and they act as the waiter between the front end and back end. The process goes like this. The front end requests data, for example, fetch my textbook listings. Then the API delivers the order to the back end. And finally, the back end processes it, and the API returns the data to the user screen. So that is how the front end and the back end can communicate. Now that we successfully built an app with front end, back end, and APIs, we still need to worry about security and authentication. It's critical for protecting user data and handling login credentials. For example, you don't want just anyone jumping in and deleting textbooks from the marketplace. So we use the backend to handle authentication. When a user logs in, the backend checks their password and issues a temporary token. The front end holds on to this token and shows it to the API every time it asks for data. This guarantees the app knows exactly who is making the request and prevents unauthorized actions from other people. We've talked about processing rules, but where does all the actual information live permanently? That is the job of the database. If you don't have a database, your app will forget everything the second you close it. The database is a secure, organized storage system for your facts. It holds the user profiles, passwords, the textbook prices, the intern hours, and everything else. While the Python backend does the thinking, it relies on the database to remember the details. To talk to these databases and to read and write data, we use a language called SQL, or Structured Query Language. SQL doesn't build buttons or calculate math. It specifically writes commands to store, update, and retrieve data. For example, if a student uses our marketplace filters, the backend might use SQL to say, select all textbook listings where the price is under $50 and the category is computer science. So the database searches its tables, hands the results to the backend, which passes it to the API, and then displays it on the front end. In today's day, app development is highly collaborative. And that is because collaboration is necessary in software engineering. That is why we use something called Git, which is a version control system that tracks every code change. So it prevents teammates from accidentally overriding each other's work, and also acts as an undo button to go back to a previous version. So it's very useful in collaboration. So now that we've built a successful application and are ready to deploy it, we first have to test it, because oftentimes bugs will show up that we didn't catch. So to test our application, we write automated scripts that act as real users. And so this tests edge cases like wrong passwords, broken links, and empty forms. Catching bugs early ensures a reliable launch and happy customers. So after we tested our application and made sure there were no bugs, we can finally move to deployment, which is moving code to a live state so that users around the world can download our app. You are now ready to build your own app. To summarize, we first design the UI/UX blueprint, then we build the front end, code the logic in the back end, store information in a database, and do all that while using Git. Thank you for your time.